Once again, everyone, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I want you to learn 6 new words. There are supposed to be officially more words to learn, but I don't care. You just need to know these 6 and you're going to be fine, okay? The other ones, when they come up, we'll deal with them. They rarely occur in the Quran anyway, so I wouldn't make a big deal out of them. These 3 words on top are hada, hadihi, and haula'i. Let me tell you what they mean. Hada means this, hadihi also means this, it's only used for feminine, and haula'i means these. This, these. Hada, hadihi, haula'i. The second line is dhalika, tilka, and ulaika. Dhalika means that. Tilka is that also, but it's used for the feminine. And ulaika is used both ways, those. So the first line, the top line is this and these, and the second line is that and those. So pointing nearby is hada, hadihi, haula'i. Pointing far away is dhalika, tilka, and ulaika. Okay. The official version of this is hada, hadani, haula'i, hadihi, hatani, haula'i, dhalika, dhanika, ulaika, tilka, tanika, ulaika. There's more words, the pair of them. I don't really make a big deal out of the pair right now because you're not going to come across those much in the Quran, and when you do, it's going to be pretty obvious. So there's no need for you to memorize that. But these words, you absolutely have to know. I'm going to make a few comments about these words, first and foremost, so we get started on our thoughts about these pointers. These are the pointers, and here are some things you absolutely must remember about them. Number one, that they are all proper, always. If somebody asks you how that is proper or common, they're always proper. Okay, that's never a question. Hadihi is proper, haulai is proper, dhalika, tilka, ulaika, they're all proper. 2, they are non-flexible. Now what does that mean that they're non-flexible? What that means, friends, is that you cannot tell whether they're rafa or nasab or jar. Let me explain. Hada is rafa, but if it was nasab, it would also look like hada, and if it was jar, it would also look like hada. Dhalika is rafa or nasab or jar, I don't know. Maybe there's a min before it. You know what min does, right? It makes the next word jar. It says min dhalika. It didn't change its appearance. But now I know it's jar because there's a min before it. If it was inna dhalika, like that, well, inna makes the next word nasab. That's why I know dhalika is nasab. But on its own, I don't know what it is. It could be rafa, or it could be nasab, or it could be jar. That's what I mean by non-flexible. It doesn't show its status. It's not able to show you that. You have to decipher that from the context. So the first thing is they're all proper. Second, they don't show you a change in status, rafa, nasab, or jar. They always look the same. The third is you can use them to make sentences or fragments with them. And that's the thing we're going to spend a little bit of time on. Try to understand that. It's a simple lesson. Don't be intimidated by it. You'll get it in no time, okay? So here's how it works. Let me just fix the font here so that you can see the Arabic clearly. Okay, let's do this. If I say this house, that's not a sentence. That's the word this and the word house together, and they're not really forming a sentence, they're forming a fragment. But if I say this is a house, now that's a sentence. The presence of is created a sentence. The lack of is rendered it a fragment. We want to do both. We want to be able to say this house, that car, this book, that book, this prophet, that prophet, those people, but we should also be able to say those are people, this is a Muslim, etc., etc. Okay, so we want to use these pointers, these few words that I just taught you, hada, hadihi, haula'i, dhalika, tilka, and ulaika, these words. You want to be able to use them to make a sentence, and you want to be able to identify when they're being used as a fragment, which means there's no is in between them. So what does sentence mean? Sentence means there's an invisible is. In Arabic, just like there's no of, there is no is. And fragment means there's no is. Okay? And here's the basic rule. If a pointer is followed immediately by al, anything, al, then it's a fragment. Otherwise, it's a sentence. Simple as that. Let's take a look. If I say hada, and I say kitab, hada kitabun, is the word kitab, does it have al on it? No. That means it's a sentence. That means I'm going to translate it as this is, I'm going to put bold the is here, a book. But if I put hada and al-kitab, then I'm going to have to say this book. Once you put al on it, you can't have is. Once you take the al off, the is comes back. You have, for example, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. If I say Hada Rasulullah, this is the messenger of Allah. Simple. There is no complication necessary. If you see al right after, it's a fragment. It means you don't use the word is. If you don't see al, you translate it as a sentence. When it's a fragment, now let's only talk about when it's a fragment. When it's a fragment, then it's called Ismul Ishara. Ishara means pointer. Ismul Ishara is the word Hada, Hadihi, Hadihi, Tilka, Ulaika. Those words are called Ismul Ishara, and the word with al on it is called Mushar ilayh. Ismul Ishara, Mushar ilayh. Okay? These terms, you only use them when it's a fragment, when you see the al. That's when you say this is a case of Ismul Ishara, Mushar ilayh, or simply you can say this is a fragment, not a sentence. So let's do a little bit of an exercise. So let's look at Hada Bayanun Linnas. The word Hada, pointer, immediately not followed by al, which means this is a sentence. This is a clarification. Bayan means clarification. This is a clarification. If I wanted to turn this into this clarification, no is, then I drop an al on it, I get rid of the un sound, Hada al Bayan. That's what that would be. Hada al Bayanu. Okay? That would be this clarification. Ha'ula'i, which means these, kafiruna means disbelievers. Is this a fragment? Should I translate this as these disbelievers or these are disbelievers? In this case, it'll be these are disbelievers because there is no al right here. If it wasn't al right here, then I translate these disbelievers. Inna hadha al-Qur'ana. Inna means certainly. This Qur'an. Not this is Qur'an, because there's an al here, so the is cannot exist. Either you have al or you have is. Okay? So certainly this Qur'an. Similarly, we find ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ, that book. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَاب. If it was that is a book, that would have been ذَلِكَ كِتَابٌ. Kitabun. That's the basics of the Ismul Ishara and the Musharun ilayh.